Here we have a question from a sister in Peru. Sister, Angel. Janet. He says, "Good evening, Brother Sheikh. I am in Lima, Peru. I need your guidance." Well, as soon as I know, I will be happy to. Reading it and listening to it always leaves me with a life lesson. Alhamdulillah. My topic is the following. I have a 5-year-old boy with autism. Autism is a defect. In the brain, the person does not have normal behaviors, like a cerebral delay or something like that. And my son, the older one, well, it seems that he has 2 children. He has a 5-year-old boy with autism, and the other one is older. My son, the older one, always tells me the same thing in our conversation. Well, then the older son, whose age we don't know, is saying something to his mom. What does he say? "Mom, please, I won't be able to help you with Angel." Ah, that boy's name is Angel. "I can't stay with him because his behavior causes me a lot of stress." It's true. It's true. That means a teenager, for example, let's say 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, does not have the understanding or attitude of a person with autism. So it is normal for a teenager not to understand it, or not to be able to tolerate it, not to be able to endure it. It is normal. Your son is sincere. And it's good that your son has such a good relationship with you, and that he expresses himself. It's okay. That's fine. Up to this point, it's fine. That the older son says, "I can't stand the younger son who has autism." Then he says, "Mother, please, I won't be able to help you with Angel. I can't stay with him because it causes me a lot of stress. His behavior is normal. And if one day you go to Pakistan, it seems that she wants to go to Pakistan, maybe she has a boyfriend there, please take him with you. Please." Well, it's normal for her to ask you that. I love my brother. Well, maybe he says that to talk to you. Do you understand? It's just that it's not normal for a teenager to only want the person who helps him, who serves as a playmate. So, if your brother has any problems, it is normal that he cannot tolerate it. Because, for example, I will tell you, he feels ashamed to have a brother with a developmental delay. Do you understand me? So he feels embarrassed to tell his friends that he has a brother with that problem. That is also normal. Up to this point, there is no problem. Let me tell you that Mom couldn't stand that brother who has defects. So, what does it say more? I love my brother? Maybe he doesn't love this either. What I'm going to tell you is that it is something normal, dear sister. You should not get stressed when you see that your son, who is a teenager, expresses what he feels. That is okay. You should not feel bad. Perhaps this way you will affect your older son. Because the older son is not to blame because, for example, his brother has that defect. Do you understand me? You have to understand that it is normal for a teenager not to be able to tolerate a brother like that. So she says, I don't have the patience to take care of him. It's true. I only have 2 children. Well, I already explained. The father of my children abandoned us when he found out that my 5-year-old son was diagnosed with autism. It is normal for irresponsible men in unstable relationships. What does it mean? Why does the ISM insist so much on marriage? Why is the person affected in a marriage the woman, as in this case? In the relationship, the man enjoys sex to the fullest. He takes full advantage of you. But when a problem is about to happen, suddenly the man disappears. It's normal. Of all the interested men, the exploitative and opportunistic men, when they are going to use a woman, will see her as a sexual toy. They use her and then throw her away. They abandon her. That is why we insist that marriage must be legal. Marriage has to be religious. When marriage is going to be religious and legal, it means that the man has a commitment to you when it happens to you, because after sex there are many consequences. Because After sex come children. After sex come many things. So the woman needs the support of the man who has enjoyed her body. Now is the time to serve her. It's not that you come to use a woman and then say goodbye, I'm leaving. No, come on. Here, the game is just beginning. Men only think about sex. After sex, goodbye. They don't even know you. They don't even know you. Who are you? Oh, they are going to block your calls and won't even respond to a message. Why now? It's a matter of money. Because a pregnant woman is not going to have the same free relationship she had before. She needs attention and all of that. That's why. The wisdom of God requires that you can only have an intimate relationship with the man who is your official husband. Look, in another case, if that man were her legal husband, she would have some legal tools to pressure him to pay child support. But now look, the man does not recognize, he escapes. It is normal in these relationships. It always happens. The father of my children abandoned us when he found out that my 5-year-old son was diagnosed with autism. Well, that's how it is. Except, I don't know if it was the husband or the boyfriend, but Islam prohibits having boyfriends for this reason. If it was the case that this was your look in the West, look, I'm not talking about her, this sister. I'm speaking generally about a concept in the West, when it says, with the person I provided for. Now I have children. For example, she says, the mother of my children. She is not going to say the person I provided for, who was that woman, and now we have children. Or the man we have fornicated with, that already, do you understand me? That word, because it says, that is a sheikh. It sounds bad and all that. It says, the father of the children, the mother of my children. In that case, I don't speak because I don't know. But generally, it is a concept to, we can say, make the case a bit softer. But the real case is this. When talking about fornication, it speaks of the consequences of actions. So be very careful. I tell all the brothers who are listening to me, God does not want fornication. That is why it has so much curse. But well, let's see. In this case, we do not know. But well, what does the sister say? She says, I have since taken responsibility for my 2 children, as is the case for many oppressed women in the West. Responsible, because you are a mother, you love your children, and look what happens. And we live peacefully thanks to Allah. Very well, a responsible mother that God has blessed you with. But my concern is that my older son, his name is Israel, is 16 years old. Well, what I recommend above all is that you change your son's name from Israel, because the little boy is going to identify with the regime of Israel. It may affect your son in the future. Do you understand me? It's just that, well, Israel is the name of the prophet Jacob. I understand that. But nowadays, sometimes a person feels like they identify with the Zionist regime. I recommend changing his name, Israel Isaac, for example, to another name, so that poor kid doesn't identify with the Zionist Matanino regime. Maybe because he was given that name, I won't take responsibility. He doesn't spend time with his brother. It's normal. That 16-year-old boy only cares about his pleasure, how to enjoy himself, how to seek more pleasures in life. Just 16 years old. Just entering into sexual life. Imagine, in the West, it is generally like this. A child is now looking for girlfriends, things like that. So his mind is elsewhere, sister. What is he asking? He doesn't spend time with his brother, of course. He dedicates his time to his girlfriends, video games, or other things. So what happens? And he tells me that he won't be able to support him. That's normal. I met a young Muslim from Pakistan. Thanks to him, I learned about Islam. And we have a very healthy and honest long-distance relationship. I don't understand this. The healthy and honest long-distance relationship? I can't swallow this. Or they are related. What is fornication? We call it virtual fornication when a man and a woman have virtual intimacy. What does virtual intimacy mean? You all know. You already know what I mean. So the relationship between a woman and a man is either one where they are getting to know each other without a relationship, or they enter into what is called virtual fornication. So, I don't understand what you mean by a healthy relationship. What is it? It's not a relationship then. Either they have a relationship that is virtual fornication, or they do not have a relationship at all. If you say they are getting to know each other, that is something else. To know each other is for marriage. Well, if a man is in one country and the woman is in another country, can they get married? Islamically, yes. Because it is not a condition of marriage in Islam that the man and woman be together in the same place. Distance marriage in Islam is acceptable, but distance fornication is not accepted. Or masturbation, whatever. Like, maybe she refers to them getting to know each other. If it is just about getting to know each other, that's fine, but if it goes beyond that which is called intimacy, then the man demands other things beyond just knowing. I also want to know the details of your body. That's how it starts. And I am Sheikh. I know everything. So, if we are going for that, it is not right, nor is it healthy, nor is it honest. That is virtual fornication. All right, let's move on to the next. I ask about my little son, and he advises me on how to help him improve his language. Very well, that man. Let them marry that man legally. Let that man be your legal husband, and it is very good that he supports that family. We talk every day. Imagine, when they reach that point, I don't see it as a healthy relationship with a lot of respect. When they talk every day, then they also talk at night. So it's more than just knowing, you know what I mean? He has plans for us to go to Pakistan. It is unknown how far these words will work, because all men, when they want to win over a girl, have many plans. Men will promise to conquer all of New York for you. They say they will promise that you will be the First Lady of the United States. I will be the President. I'm going to make you the First Lady. I'll buy you half of the US for you. But all those promises are just until sex comes. When a man gets sex, he takes advantage of the girl, and he will forget about her as if she never existed. That's how it is. If you see that he promises things, even if he is holding back, that son of a gun has a son with autism. We have plans for that son. I am an expert. My 10 ex-girlfriends also had the same case. And I cured all those children, and now they talk and everything. Don't believe that man. Until entering into a formal legal marriage, what I tell you, what happens? He says that he has plans for us, to go to Pakistan and make a life there, that he should pay for the ticket so they can go today. She does not wait for another day, but with one condition: the man must not be a married man, who is now looking to have a Latina girlfriend due to family problems. His name is Usman, so he seems to be a son too. I want to tell him how sad I feel to hear repeatedly about the feelings my son Israel has towards his little brother. It's unnecessary. There is no need to share all the secrets of your home. Why? Because it will be a case of, as long as the man is not your husband, do not share all your secrets with him. Why? A man, when he knows more about the details of your private life, can better take advantage of your emotions. It's a case of those expert men who know how to win over girls, right? I am going to tell you an interesting story. Once, a girl wrote to me. I think she was Mexican. The girl was telling me, the man is prepared. He was from Algeria, if I'm not mistaken. He is ready to travel to marry me. So, what happens? The boy, for example, the ticket, let's suppose, was $200 around there. So the man had connected with her and says, look, dear, I have, for example, 1-800. I am short $400. Can you lend me $400 so that I can go buy the ticket? So I told her, be very careful, be very careful. That money is being stolen from you. Tomorrow it will be stolen, and he will never come to Mexico. So, these are very old, well-known tricks. You know, right? Very, very clever. How he steals the money. He says, look, the ticket is $2,200. I have already saved $800. I need $400 more. Can you lend it to me for 2 months? And the girl, with a lot of confidence, has a pure heart, and knows very well that they are not yet husband and wife. Nothing. They are not married. So the girl is going to lend him something. Supposedly she is going to lend it to him, and she doesn't know that the man is deceiving her. There is no commitment. There is no paperwork. Allah may not ask for anything tomorrow. And the next day, he will see that the account is blocked. He won't even respond to you. Where is he? He's with another girl asking for another loan of $400. Very clever, isn't it? All right. And this, honestly, be very careful with the Arab boys. What happens? Let's go. So what does he say? I don't know how to describe it. No, don't describe it until the man is your legal husband. Well, he says that I don't know how to describe the boy, 16 years old. Indifference, frailty, little empathy, little sensitivity to others. It's normal. That boy is normal for feeling that way. Of course, with a good education and behavior management, a boy of that quality can be cured. But the problem here is not the case of the older boy. It is your case, dear sister, because in the meantime, you do not have stability in your life, because you now have to see yourself from the outside, see how you are living. All of this conveys this to your older son. Because the older son says, look, how much suffering I have gone through and this. And maybe that boy sees it as a lack of responsibility from the beginning of the relationship. For example, if I were in the place of your older son, how would I judge you? I would say, Mom, why haven't you entered into a legal marriage so that my dad can't abandon us? Now in society, when people ask me about my dad, I don't know how to respond. And it's all your fault. So, if I were in your son's place, I would ask these questions. I would say, Mom, why don't I have a dad? Because of you. Because you have given yourself to a man without him having a legal commitment. And it is your fault. It's not about being a son, it was love and things. I'm not going to swallow that. When the case is like this, look, your son considers you guilty. I don't know, dear sister, I want to be honest. If you don't want honesty from me, then it's better not to consult me. I am frank and sincere. Meanwhile, the child feels guilty towards you. So the guilt of having a brother with defects is on you. It says, you are guilty that we have that brother. You are to blame for not having the money, but the son does not dare to express himself. Why? Why does the support for that son depend on you? Because he needs your affection, because you are his mother, because the son is not independent. He needs his home. But unfortunately, many times when the child is about to become independent, older and all that, suddenly when he no longer needs his mother, the child will turn to bad behavior. It means that inside there is a volcano. It has not had the opportunity to explode. But later, when the opportunity arises, it will explode. What should be done? What should be done? First, take responsibility for your relationships. Now, you have entered into another relationship again, and the child is a witness. In another relationship, you also have not entered into legal commitments. And that irresponsible relationship, you are describing as a healthy, sound relationship, which it is not. I don't see it that way. Look, let's see. From your words, I am concluding, you say, I am contacting that Pakistani man daily. What does it mean? Look, a healthy relationship is for knowing each other, nothing more. When there are going to be more details, or rather, when you enter into intimacy and trust, what does a man seek from a woman? Her body. It's not that the man is an affectionate man, he just wants affection. No, that's a lie. Hey, what's wrong with you? Let's be honest, what a man needs from a woman is sex. Ah, that's the reality. Don't come to deceive yourself. What the woman needs is affection, emotion, love. Love, not sex. Love means emotional. That a man loves her, a man admires her, a man is attentive to her. So, the marital need of a woman, if we are to say, is 90% emotional and 10% physical. That comes after that affection. The marital need of a man is 99.99% sex. Perhaps there is a little affection left. I'm serious. I don't know if men can confirm this for me. Men are like that. For example, if a man goes on the trip, does he have someone to help him sexually during the trip, right? Or rather, let someone be there to have sex. That man won't even call his wife, for God's sake. He is not going to make the call. He will forget. He was reading a book. It is Rahlatu Ibn Battute. Ibn Battute was a Maliki judge from the Maliki school in Tunisia. From Matunesia, if I'm not mistaken. He was from Tunisia. So he traveled from North Africa to China or something like that, to India, China. So in this, it's like Marco Polo, certainly Ibn Battuta, but Muslim Marco Polo. That irresponsible person, who was Sunni of course, says that when I arrived in Lebanon, I married a Lebanese woman, and there, until we had a child. He stayed for a couple of months, and right away he was getting women pregnant. Can you imagine? Then I went to India after 20 years. When I returned, I remembered that I had left a pregnant woman here. Imagine Nebatutea, yes. Imagine men, yes. So, Morocco, very well, a brother says it was. Morocco in North Africa, well, it doesn't matter what country. He says that on the return from India, when I read that book about 30 years ago, Toda Rahlat al-Ibn Battuta is the book by Ibn Battuta that I read in high school about 30 years ago. So, on the return from India, which happened 20 years ago, I remembered that in that city in Lebanon, there was a pregnant woman who had been left by that pregnant woman, and I had learned that a child had been born. So she comes to look for her house, knocks on the door, and she opens the door. Oh, who is it? I am the man who gave you a son. Oh, so I want to see my son. He should be about 20 years old. And the woman says, no, it's just that when he was a child, he died of an illness. Let's see, this is the man. This is the man. But a woman now, we could ask that woman and ask her, look, how many times have you remembered and missed that man, your husband? And she says, every day she was thinking about him. Women are like that. We can say that in their origin, in their essence, women are faithful. Fidelity is in the flesh of the woman. Fidelity. It is a lie that women are unfaithful. No, it is that men are transmitting infidelity to women. The unfaithful man makes his wife unfaithful. Then, in Islamic narratives, it is said that when a man is faithful, the woman will surely be faithful, because fidelity is in a woman's nature. On the contrary, men have unfaithfulness in their nature. Therefore, men must control their eyes and manage all aspects. Why? Because for a man, it is easy to abandon the first woman and go for a second woman. That is why women are told to cover themselves. Why do women cover themselves? Because men cannot control their gaze. Because men easily betray their wives. Therefore, men have to control. Everything that is said about Islamic norms is a form of control for men. Do you understand? It's a control. The woman is told, please take care of your sexy appearance, your sexual appearance in the street. Don't come out into the street like a sexual object. Enter as a human being. Leave your body. That lovely body, you leave it at home. It means that sexual aspect, leave it for home. When you go out on the street, cover the sexual aspect of your body. Why? Because men have infidelity in their blood. That's why I'm going to give you a simple example. When we men get together, what do? Let's be honest. Let's confess. Not me, but many men are like that. And what do men on social media say? Do you understand me? Their minds are always on sex. Many men who do not have religious education, many men who do not have that Islamic education. His phone is full. Either they are chatting with women or they are talking about another woman's body. Either they are talking about the colleague or they are thinking about getting involved with the colleague. Seriously, that is the reality of men. The world of men is a very dirty world. But when a man is about to become a believing man, he begins to control himself, to develop that love for sin in his heart, and he becomes a pure, healthy, perfect, lovely man. It's an example, a brilliant man. Do you understand me? Let's see another example so you can understand it. How are you going to understand that essence when you give someone absolute power? For example, you are going to be the king. When all the corrupt men in history became kings, they had many wives. Why? Because we are talking about the essence of men. If you do not control men, they will be like this. All men, when they became kings, all the kings, in the East, in the West, in India, in China, in Iran, in England, everywhere. Even the presidents of the countries in the world. I remember that I was talking to the bodyguards of a president from Latin America. I am not going to name him. Well, I found him at a meeting. There. He said that the president would go to bed with a different woman every night. That's how it was. And he was not a bad person, so to speak, nor was he a Zionist. Well, let's see, dear brothers, that is the reality. Men, when they attain absolute power, the first thing they seek is to have many women. Look for the life of Fidel Castro and others. Let's see, but the women. When a woman is to become a queen, it is an exceptional case. That she has slept with many men. It is an exceptional case for a queen to be sexually perverted. Generally, they have one man or a lover or two. Nothing more. In the case of men, it is completely different. This is something to keep in mind. So let's return to the topic. Let's see. If you are going to see that your son is not cooperating, dear sister, if you are going to see that your son is resisting, it is for something he feels for you, dear sister. So if you ask me how to correct that boy, I tell you to correct yourself, because the boy feels that it is your fault, that he now doesn't have a father to support him. The boy feels this way, so correct your attitude. Again, now with that new man, Usman as well, it doesn't seem to me that it's a proper relationship. Then, the sister says, that's why it has been. To you, Sheikh, I hope for guidance that will help me cope with this situation without demanding too much from that young son. Help him understand that he needs to be responsible. Responsibility will come from you, not from your words, but from your attitude. Dear sister, responsibility is something that your son can learn from your attitude, not from your words. Children do not learn anything from the words of their parents. Children imitate the attitudes of their parents. We have said it 1,000 times, and we will say it again. Very well, I am a woman of faith, and I am sure that Allah will help. God will help you when you fulfill your part. When you have not fulfilled your part, do not expect help from God. God's help comes when you have done everything possible and everything right. Very well, may God bless you, dear sister. We have dedicated half an hour to respond to you. I believe this is a case of many siblings, and also, inshallah, we will make the supplication for God to grant you much patience. And that, God willing, if it is within God's wisdom, it will be better for your son to be healed. God willing, he will be healed. Regards.